Good evening, everyone. I hope you are all having a wonderful day once again. We'll be breaking down the E-mini. I had a wonderful day today as far as trading goes. Probably, excuse me, English, goodness. Probably one of my best trades I've had in a while. Uh, I did a great job today. I pat myself on the back on the way I handled it. Normally on days like today, I typically have a hard time catching the move. And today, thankfully, I had the opportunity to get involved and made the best and the most out of it with what I had. So before we get into that, well, if you guys don't mind, leave a like down below if you enjoy the content. Comment anything you'd like me to improve on. And last but not least, let's get into it. We'll break down just the daily today as nothing's changed on the weekly. The weekly is still firmly in a 3-week balance or a 4-week balance, excuse me. We'll call it a 5-week balance if we take out yesterday's low and push down lower. Today, we put the daily back into a balance by taking out yesterday's high. So by taking out yesterday's high, we put ourselves back into balance because the market does not just go bull or bear bull, right? You want to have some sort of balance and then go back to bull. So initially, by taking out yesterday's high, we stopped the one-time framing down. So we're stopping the succession of lower highs, all right, and lower lows by stopping and taking out a previous day's high. So now we have stopped that and put ourselves back into a balance. One thing to note is how today we pushed up back above the 20-day moving average and back into this previous balance area, which initially was overall was my target today on the long side. I was not expecting the move through and into the previous balance area, but I was at least targeting that 35.25 previous balance area. But by taking out the previous day's high, I am calling this a 6-day balance. I am using this daily high here at 41.7175 as the balance high, and then yesterday's low as the balance low. It will be a decent sized balance. And if we get above that high of 71.75, I will say the daily is back to up. So we'll be one time framing up at that point, taking out highs on the daily. So with that being said, let's go ahead and mark this balance area for you guys. Balance low is 68.75, so 40.6875. We'll mark that for you guys. And if you guys, caught any of this day, let me know what time frame you caught it in, how you caught it, what gave you the indication, of why you bought the where you bought it, and it's always cool to hear how you guys trade. I'm very interested in that. And then the balance high here was 71.75. But yeah, if you had a great day, let me know. Hopefully you guys, whether it's options or you're trading the ES, MES, whatever it is, hopefully you guys caught some of this. So now I'm calling this a 6-day balance, just because we took out that balance high right there. So could you say it is a 2-day balance using just yesterday's low and today's high? Yes, but I ultimately would like to see us above this 41.75 level, as it's kind of a area where we really didn't find much acceptance above these 2 days here. So we get above that, the daily will resume one-time framing up. So from 41.75 down to 40.6875, about a 100-point range is what we're looking at there. All right, let's get into today's trade. First, I want to go over what happened. Here, we'll do this. I'll go over what we were looking at in the pre-market, and then I will look at where I got into the trade and why I got into it. And that'll be kind of how we structure it today. So right here, we are looking at the 30-minute time frame, okay? And what I have marked on my screen is the overnight high and the overnight low. having these areas marked on, oh, I have the wrong overnight low. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Overnight high and overnight low. Always have these marked on your chart, because whether we get above or below certain areas will determine kind of how the rest of your day will go. Usually, if you get the overnight high, it means buyers are strong. If you get the overnight low, usually means sellers are stronger, right? A lot of times, especially this year, we get both. But that is very, very low percentage of the time we get both. But majority of the time, when you get above a certain area, you'll tend to grind up higher after we open. So that is exactly what happened today. After we opened up in a period, we got above the overnight high, signifying that this market was looking stronger. And we had a good chance at putting the daily back into a balance. And then once we got above the previous day's high, what did we do? We started to grind back into this set of single prints and get into the upper distribution. So I just wanted to show you guys where that overnight high was and why, first thing on the checklist for the buyers this morning was the overnight high. So one thing that you always want to be looking at is your checklist. Why are you taking a trade? For me, we began to take out the overnight high, so that was an indication buyers were strong. Next thing I wanted to look for was in the next time frame, would we begin to one time frame up? And one time framing up means we're taking out a previous time frame's high. So let's go into just the 30-minute RTH session and review that. Let me get the destinations up for you guys, and then I'll show you where I got in and got out at. So like I said, we took out that overnight high, right? We took out that overnight high in a period. Zoom this in a little bit more. Took out the overnight high in a period, right? Signifying that buyers were kind of taking control. We front ran the previous day's high by just a little bit and backed off initially in a period. So we weren't we weren't extremely strong. And then B period opens up, takes out, pulled back, but couldn't get back to the opening, showing that buyers were still comfortable in this market, as well as short covering kind of coming in. And then once we got above the previous day's high, we attempted to go trend with this set of single prints. So after B period pushed up above the previous day's high, we began to push into this area of single prints, right? We wanted to fill in volume here. So we attempted to push up and backfill that area. Like I said, a lot of times these areas become targets for us to come back into. So that's why you want to have them marked on your chart with single prints, right? Single prints we had to the upside. So you want to see us buyers kind of take that back and mark that off. So as we began to push up in B period, we began one time framing up, and we attempted to have a set of single prints inside of this. So I know it sounds confusing, but we were attempting to push up and backfill this area. And in doing so, we created a short position of our own, but we filled it in C period, not holding the trend initially. Then in D period, we pulled back, attempted to take out B's low and get back to the opening, but more short covering came back into the market. Buyers stepped back in, and we had a reversal bar in D period, resuming the one time framing up. After D period, we did nothing but one time frame up the entire day, creating set of single prints, a distribution here, another set of single prints, another set of single prints, and just grinding and pushing up higher into the upper distribution from that trend day down on the 25th. So once we pushed up into D period and E period right here, pulled back, found acceptance inside of that upper distribution, right? The upper distribution from that day was 1650 to 4425. That was the upper distribution. That's what we wanted to see for buyers, was continuing the one time framing up and finding acceptance in the previous days, or not the previous day, but the previous upper distribution right here, right? So for me, my target was if buyers could stay and remain strong and continue to one time frame up, whether we had single prints or just continue to grind and have one time framing, as buyers, you were looking good, right? You had overnight Overnight high, you had one time framing up. You had the initial balance high by taking out C's high or B's high. You had one time framing up. And then you fill this set of single prints. You also, as a buyer, stop the one time framing on in the bigger picture on the daily. So shorts were getting out of their positions, providing a bid on the way up. And then obviously, longs like myself began to get into this market probably around an E or F period. So ultimately, for me, my target was like in that day's range was previous value high. That's why these things are also important, because once we got up to that 28 level, we kind of battled right around this 28 level for a minute. F and G and an H period just kind of chopped around in there, created a distribution before collecting more buyers and pushing this market up higher, continuing to one time frame up in H, I, J, and ultimately getting up to the previous day's high. Now, for me, as far as the long goes, I took initially I was getting short in D period. After we failed to go trend and C, I was like, well, the range is kind of small. Maybe in D period, if we take out C's low, we'll roll over, get the open, at least back test the 4100 level. So I took a short thinking that was the case, when in fact I should have been taking a long. And I'll show you that here on the 144, or not the 144, but the 1 minute, where that spot was and why I should have taken that trade to the long side instead of to the short side. Because of those things that I was saying, because the buyers had, excuse me, let me get this settled. Because buyers had one time framing up, they had the overnight high, they had value being raised higher, they stopped the one time framing down in the daily. Um, Buyers had a lot in their checklist for a move to the upside. So right here, you can see around 10:15, we were consolidating above the 144 simple moving average and above VWAP, right? So I felt like if we could get below the 144 simple moving average and below VWAP, these buyers would begin to, the bids would begin to stop coming in as far as short covering goes. And these buyers that were buying would get hurt, and we'd pull back to the opening and back test the 4100 level. So I wasn't looking for a whole lot. I was looking, to short around 8 and get down to 4100, maybe make 8 points. And then I had my stop up here at 10. So I was risking 2 points to make 8 points. So I really wasn't risking a whole lot. But once we could not break below and hold below, I should have gotten out of that trade immediately and looked for a long. I even thought about it whenever it happened. And then once we failed to do so, look at that rally. We bounced up pretty good, and I thought I had missed out. But I began to look for a long position in E period once we got into that upper distribution, right? I wanted to see if we could hold above that 4116 level, above B's high, and hold in the upper distribution. And that's where I got long. And I'll show you that here. You can see that here with my entries that I marked. So I bought initially after getting stopped out on my short position in D period. I wanted to get long and join the buyers, and had my target set up high. So in E period, when we pulled back, I initially took a long position around 18, a 2 lot. 18 and 17 is exactly what I bought. And then I bought a 2 more lot right around the 16 level. 1550 was my exact buy for my second contract. And then I think it was 1575 or 15. Yeah, I think it was 1575 that I bought the second one. So I had an average price of 17 on a 4 lot. And I had a bid even lower around the 12 to 13 level to buy 6 more, but we did not get back down to that level. I wanted to see us, hold above, which would have been more positive, and that is what happened. Once we took out D's high, we began to go trend, and I had my target set on value high from that day, and then D's high, which is where we kind of rejected this previous balance area, right? So if you're looking at my left screen here, let me just zoom it in. Sorry, guys. I get excited about these things. Hopefully you guys are following along. But you can see here that I just marked that 40 or 35.25 area, how on that day in D period, we pushed back up into it, right? On that day in D period, we pushed back up into it and could not find acceptance back up there after breaking that balance low. So for me, my second target was ultimately that 35 area around D's high. And then above that would have been the day's high, but I did not have enough contracts on nor enough time in my day to get that done. So once I took that long, nothing, I wanted to rely on the market generated information. Nothing was telling me to get out of this market. The only thing that would have told me to get out of this market is if we stopped the one time framing down, filled set of single prints, and then got back down into the lower distribution, rejecting that upper distribution, right? Had E period failed to hold up here, I would have gotten stopped out of my position after adding, of course, would have gotten stopped out of my position below D's low. That would have signified that buyers were really going to give it up, and then this market would have rolled over to the downside. But because we were one time framing up and all those things I was discussing just a second ago, I was comfortable holding my position that I bought here with the 4 lot. My only regret was that I did not add on the way up once we had another set of single prints. But ultimately, we continued to push up. I exited my first position at 26, and then held the other two positions to exit around 36 on this pop up in I period as we continue to one time frame up and create more single prints. Today was a triple distribution day, and I was happy to hop in and catch some of this grind to the upside. Now, did I catch the entire ride? No, you'll never catch the entire ride, but because of the market generated information that I had provided to me, that I was reading with the market, that I could see on my 30-minute time frame, and that I could see in E period we were getting acceptance in the previous distribution, I knew that ultimately this market could at least push up into D's high and back test that previous balance area low. And I was comfortable with that, right? I was comfortable with taking my profits there. Was I expecting us to get up to the 44.25 area? No, but I did know that that was a target that these markets, these algorithms and short-term traders could potentially target on the upside. So that is the trade that I took. That's why I took it. With all those things I said, you want to make sure you have your checklist. Now, does this trade always work? No. With the way this market has been recently, holding trend days has been very rare. But having things like one time framing up is powerful. Things with like one time framing up with single prints is even more powerful. Having things like one time framing up with single prints, overnight high, value being moved up, point of control being moved up, those things are powerful. And that is why you want to make sure you learn and know the profile. So with that being said, let's mark today's destinations. I'm happy with what I made. $209 after commissions and fees. Really good day. I believe it was 42 points. 42 or 44 points on the day is what I made total after taking the initial loss in D period. So, win rate 57%. Overall, a good day with just a 4 lot of MES, right? Had I had minis, today the day would have been just phenomenal. But because I've been trading MES, that allowed me to stay in this trade. Probably if I would have had minis, I might have just scalped out of these positions and never got back in, right? But because I was with the MES, I was more comfortable with my risk, and I continued to move my stop up with each new set of single prints. So whenever we create a set of single prints in F period, I've moved my stop up to 20. And then whenever we create another set of single prints in G period before filling in H, I moved my stop up to 22. And then in H, whenever we made a new set of single prints, I moved my stop up to 27. And then ultimately in I, when we began to grind up even higher, I moved my stop up to 29 and then let this thing push up to my ultimate target where I got out. So that's how I managed my trade, was continuing to move my stop up in case this market did want to roll over. And I actually was looking to get long around half back, which was at the time right around the 16 level. So had we rolled over, in G or an H period and gotten an afternoon pullback low, I would have looked to take a long. Uh, with any acceptance below E's low, I would have gotten out of that trade. But we never got there. I never got stopped out of my position. We continued to grind up, and that's how I managed it. Kept moving my stop. Yeah, I know that was lengthy explanation. If you made it through that, thank you. Let's mark the day's destinations. So I am proud of how I traded today. I cannot complain. Today's high. Ooh, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I need to call this a 1, 2, 3, 4. That was in period that got that. Okay. All right. So 71.75 maybe should not be my balance high. Maybe 64.25 should be my balance high. I didn't realize that it was in period that spiked up like that. So if I apologize. We'll probably adjust that here in a second. Today's high was 57.50. 57.50. I am mistaken. I gotta adjust that. All right, high of day. Ooh. Can I type, please? Also, we're going into the month end, so tomorrow we'll review the larger time frames all together. We got quite the destinations to mark. Triple distribution day. Upper distribution is L's high to L's low. Is where the upper distribution is. The middle distribution is G's high to G's low. What was L's low here? 51.25. Trust me, you guys, you're going to want to mark these on your charts. If you know how, then, kudos to you. It took me a while to learn how to mark these things. And identify them at the very least. So single prints, start here. Single print start there. They fill at J's high, which is 48.75. Let me get this back out. 48.75. Single prints fill because now they are downside destinations, right? When we go trend up, they become downside destinations. When we go trend down, they become upside destinations to backfill. All right. Then we have another set of single prints that start at K's low here at 46. 46 is K's low. Boom. Single print start. Boom. Boom. And I know this is a long video. If you're making it through it, you're a freaking trooper. 42 is eyes high. Did I leave some on the table today? Yeah, a little bit. Did anything tell me to get out of the trade? No, not really. Am I happy with how I traded it? 100%. 100%. I am not upset with myself at all. Days like today, you gotta really hype yourself up on. Great patience on my part. J period. J's low, 37.75 is where this set starts. In I, 37.75. We have 6 sets of single prints, by the way. It's kind of nutty. Only a triple distribution. So whenever you have consecutive sets of single prints, you don't create another distribution until you get 3 wide. That's when you begin to create another distribution, in case you did not know. Single prints. Start here. I wonder if I can just. H is high, 50 or 31.50. 31.50 is where they fill. Single prints fill. And I. 27. I'm sorry. I date all everything. I always date. Then you have the next set that start at 31. And notice how I period opened up and then just shot up and never pulled back. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. 31. So that 31 level was, we grinded there for a minute. Single print start. They fill at G's high at 28.75. Damn, I nailed that on that dot there. Look at that. Sometimes I'm good, but not that good. 3. Come on, Chris. Get it together. And then you have the lower portion of the middle distribution, which is G's low here at 24. Oh, 24, 24, 24. Where the single prints in E period start. Holy cow. These videos are ridiculously long. I need to figure out a way to make them shorter for you guys. Probably do some editing. I'm talking 22, 25. I mean, if you like these longer style videos where I just kind of do my thing here, then more power to you. 4, 27, 23. Where they fill. Next set, Jesus. And the last set, here at F's low, 21.75. Where they start in E. Sorry. I think I said that in F period. Single print start. And they fill at D's high, which is 1950. If you're not doing your homework, shame on you. Do your homework. Do your homework, guys. 4, 27, 23. And then your lower distribution starts at D's high and ends at A's low, which is the low of day at 97.25. 97.25. Low day. And boom, there you guys have it. So I don't know. I'll have to recolor all these. I am dumb. Anyway, they're supposed to be green. There's your destinations. We are in a 4-day balance, excuse me, not a 5-day. I'm not going to use 71.75. So if we take out 64.25, we will one time frame up. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, there's your destinations. I hope you all got them. I'll catch you in tomorrow's video where we give you a much quicker update and hopefully not a 28-minute video. See ya.